San Francisco voters will say yes or no to several measures on the March 3rd ballot, but two of those measures could reshape the city as we know it, and they're stirring up debate over the future of San Francisco. SPUR Public Policy Director Nick Josefowitz joins me now to talk about them. Okay, so there's two. One of them is the vacancy tax B-roll. The other is the cap on office space. Let's start with the vacancy tax. What exactly does that mean to the voter?
So this is designed to go after the increasing number of sort of empty storefronts in our neighborhoods. And what it will do is it will tell landlords that if they don't rent out their storefront, they're going to pay a tax. And the longer that they keep their storefront empty, the higher the tax is going to be. So hopefully it's going to be an incentive for landlords to find a tenant to get in there and stop this sort of real problem of vacant storefronts that we have.
I mean, you walk through certain neighborhoods and it's just empty storefront after empty storefront after empty storefront. And I assume it's because the cost is too high for people to rent, right?
And it seems that there's a number of landlords who are sort of really waiting to get that sort of super prime tenant that's going to pay exactly what they want. And so this is just going to incentivize landlords to maybe take a little bit of a lower rent or maybe take a little bit of a risk on a small business.
Is there a situation where down the road it gets to a point where the property owner is between a rock and a hard place, where they either have to operate at a loss because their property taxes are so high, or and take a lower rent just to fill it, or they end up paying this penalty?
I think what the supervisors and the mayor have said is that this is just going to be one part of a broader effort to make it a lot easier for small businesses to open and operate in San Francisco by streamlining permitting, by streamlining health inspections, for instance, for restaurants. And so this is the proposition is the stick. And then there's also going to be a bunch of carrot following up to help small businesses thrive.
And so that's all kind of part of a bigger package.
That's going to come next, we're told.
Ah, okay, all right. And so moving forward to the next one, this one is really interesting. I feel like there's a lot of debate over this, Prop E, which has a cap on office space. How is that tied to housing, and what exactly does that mean?
So the ballot measure says that we're going to have to significantly slow down the amount of new office that gets built until we can build enough affordable housing in San Francisco. And it sets a target that's completely unachievable and that has never been achieved before. So what's actually going to happen is that because office construction is one of the main sources of funding for affordable housing, if this passes, there'll be $800 million less of funding to build affordable housing over the next 20 years.
And so when it comes to this, I mean, is there folly in tying housing with commercial property, because they're vastly different?
Yeah, I think at the regional scale, it makes sense that we want to build enough housing to house all the people that work here. But if you just look at sort of downtown San Francisco, which is where this really applies, we can't expect to house all the people that we need in downtown, all the people who want to work in downtown San Francisco, and so actually what this is going to do is by reducing the amount of money that goes to affordable housing in San Francisco, it's going to make it a less affordable place to live.
So essentially what it's hoping to achieve, it will do the opposite.
We think so. And at the same time, because it's going to reduce the amount of new office space that gets built, it's going to increase the cost of renting office space in San Francisco. And so you already have the big commercial landlords telling their investors that if Prop E passes, their profits are going to go up. And what that's going to do is it's going to force out even more small businesses. It's going to force out nonprofits and doctors and dentists even, who will no longer be able to rent office space in San Francisco. And it's going to allow only the wealthiest companies to be able to stay here, which I think is also not what San Franciscans are looking for.
Right, the wealthy companies, the wealthy people who will be able to afford the rent. Okay, Nick, thank you so much. And for all of your Super Tuesday coverage, including a breakdown of what's on your ballot, head to our website, kpix.com/campaign2020.